This is the lecture for Module 8 of Applied Business and Professional Communication, Business Writing at Work. Let's start with a question. Have you been busy lately? Business writers face a challenge. It's important to be able to communicate in such a way that your message will actually impact the audience in the way you intend for it to. In the business world, people are busy. They face lots of communication, get lots of memos and other documents. How do you make your document stand out? What kind of documents are we talking about here? Well, here's a list of common business documents, beginning with letters. Business letters are typically written by individuals working inside of a company to parties outside of the company, like customers, clients, vendors, and so on. Memos, on the other hand, are documents that are written for distribution within the four walls of the company. Proposals can be internal or external, and proposals are written to suggest a new idea or to offer a particular service. Sometimes in organizational context, you can be asked to write a variety of different types of reports. Brief reports might outline a particular event or a particular program that you've been administering and you just want to let people know how things are going. More formal reports can run to hundreds of pages and identify everything from organizational goal setting, publicity campaigns, those kinds of things. And then, of course, blogs and social media have also become a part of the business writing world, because even in the case where you're talking about a 140-character tweet, there still needs to be good quality writing so that your business's reputation is enhanced and protected. So what makes business writing so important? Well, for one thing, sloppy writing can lead to the loss of thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. A survey on corporate carelessness by Britain's Royal Mail found that British companies lost an estimated $3 billion, that's with a B, dollars, due in part to sloppy writing. Things like grammatical mistakes, misspellings, typos, and other careless errors were a major reason for companies losing contracts or being held to terms that they never intended to agree to. So let's think about how we can strive for clarity and brevity in terms of our word choices. I'm going to read some phrases to you, and in your mind I want you to see if you can replace a phrase with a simpler word. I'll do the first one with you. If I were to say to you, I've put a considerable amount of effort into something, how else could you phrase that? Well, you might just say, I've put a lot, or done a lot, or much. Let's give another phrase and see if you can do it. A majority of. Here's some more. A number of. Are of the same opinion. At this point in time, based on the fact that, despite the fact that, in many cases, in the event that, take into consideration, in order to. All of these phrases can be replaced with one or two words and make the writing more easily understood. Another way to improve clarity is to avoid using redundant words and phrases in your writing. So, for example, if I wanted to talk about a person who was carrying a gun into a store, I wouldn't call them an armed gunman, because a gunman, by definition, is going to be armed. Here's some common phrases that are often used that are completely unnecessary. Foreign imports. If I'm importing something, of course it's coming from a foreign area, because that's what an import is. Sometimes we talk about someone's past history, when history, of course, refers to something that happened in the past. I've even heard people write about folks who were screaming loudly, as if a person could scream quietly if they wanted to. And then there's the problem we face with excessively complex words. What's a way that I could talk about accumulating something without using such a complicated word? How about just saying we gathered or we collected? Blatherskite. What is a blatherskite anyway? Well, it's a person who's given to a whole lot of empty talk. Sesquipedalianism. If it's too difficult to say, it's probably going to be difficult for people to understand. And this is a person who's given to using unnecessarily long words or large words when small ones would do just fine. Do you know what a sphygmomanometer is? I learned this word in 6th grade. It's actually that funny cuff that they put around your sleeve when they check your blood pressure. These words are not necessary in business contexts when simpler words will do. What we're really getting at here is that it's helpful if you can write naturally, the way a person speaks to another person, simply and with the fewest words possible. The first sentence example says, I was not disturbed that Johnson had submitted his resignation since the position held by Johnson was not of high significance. Now, if you read through that and thought about it for a minute, of course you would understand what the sentence means. But how much simpler it would be to read, Johnson's resignation didn't bother me because Johnson's job was not all that important. Another way to protect the clarity of your sentences is to write using active voice sentence construction. So what exactly is active voice sentence construction all about? Well, first of all, active voice sentences use active verbs, verbs in which someone or something is actually taking action. These are separate or different from to be verbs that just talk about someone sort of existing, or an animal or person or product just sort of being. So as often as possible, we should be writing about things that are actually happening, not simply about things that are existing. If I have a strong verb in my sentence, the next thing I should ask myself is, who or what is doing the acting? That individual or entity should be the beginning of the sentence. That's called the subject of the sentence. The person or animal or item doing the acting is the subject. And then after this strong action verb, we finish up with the subject of the action. So the individual or entity upon which the action is taking place. So let's look at these two sentences. Let's actually start at the bottom and look at the sentence written in active voice. The department manager wants employees to use less paper. Here we have a person doing some acting. And what is that person? Well, it's the department manager. But also, what he's doing is he's wanting. That action's not real simple to see, but that's okay because we get the general drift. Who does he want to do something? Well, the manager wants employees to do something. And what does he want them to do? He wants them to use less paper. So in this case, what the employee action is use. And again, it's not the best sentence in terms of action. It's not like hitting the ball with the bat, if you will. But clearly we're talking about, he doesn't want the employees necessarily to just be more energy conscious. He wants them to do a specific thing. He wants them to use less paper. And so it's the paper that the employees are going to be working with. So we have the department manager and the employees coming before the verb use, and it's the paper that everybody is concerned about. So this is an active voice, subject, verb, object sentence construction. And this is in opposition to the first sentence in this example, which says the same thing, but doesn't put all of the individuals in the right place. Namely, the employees in sentence 1 come after that verb use, and the verb use isn't used as use. It's used in use of. Did you follow that? So with the sentence that says it's requested by the department manager that the use of excessive paper be eliminated by employees, we're saying the same thing, but it took a whole lot more words. We have the employees after the verb instead of before it. And since they're the ones that are using excess paper, they need to be before the verb use. And of course, the department manager in both sentences comes out at the beginning. So you have to really think about, what is the sentence about? And do I have the subject of the sentence taking action against the object of the sentence? And when you do this, you'll see that the second sentence in our pair here is much shorter, much briefer and to the point than the first sentence. Now there's another memo specifically on formatting memos for the assignment that's coming up this week. But in general, when we think about formatting business documents, we live in a wonderful world with Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word has a number of different templates for all kinds of business documents. So you can easily go in, select a new document, and then choose the format that best fits your situation. Microsoft Word has formal and informal types of business documents. So things that are very formal and proper, and things that are a little bit more arts and crafts, and things that look a little bit more service oriented, for example. You can find everything from sales documents to collections documents. And you can print your materials out, or you can attach them to an email and deliver them either on paper or digitally. Now, a key aspect of professional level writing is your ability to use the appropriate citation style for your field. The two most common citation styles, of course, are APA and MLA. And different styles are used by people working in different industries. So you should find out which style is used in the field that you're going to be working in. A proper use of the citation style plays an important role in establishing your credibility as a professional. A 2006 study of major employers working in a wide variety of fields, out of those people, 93% said that written communication skills were very important for college graduates seeking employment. And you might think, well, good grief, why should I cite source material if I'm just writing about things that people did in my department? Well, you'd be surprised how many types of business documents can contain source material and citation supporting particular position. Annual reports often do, financial reports, in-house newsletters, internal informational reports. Here's what our competition's doing. Press releases and training manuals can all use source material and therefore need to have MLA or APA style citations. Documentation is essential for your long-range planning and for material that might be reviewed years in the future. Documentation of the source materials that you use is also important to prove a point or to persuade other people to adopt a new approach. Including citations in your written work is one way to demonstrate your professionalism. Another important strategy is to be sure to pay attention to detail and to adhere to the professional norms of written communication in your field. Sloppy formatting, spelling errors, and other lack of attention to detail in your written communication can be viewed by the recipients of your work either as a sign of disrespect, of laziness, or outright ignorance. The appropriate citation style enables the reader to find the information that they're looking for quickly. In these two examples, it's challenging to figure out who the authors of the actual articles are. Contrast that pair with this pair of articles, both written using APA citation style formatting. In these cases, we have the author's name right at the beginning, followed by the year of publication, the names of the articles, the names of the journals in which they appeared, volume number and issue number, and page numbers. Simple, straightforward formatting makes it easy to find the information you're looking for. Now, it might seem complicated, but really, if you sit down and memorize 3 basic styles, the style for a book, the style for a journal, and the style for a web page, you'll find that it's not really difficult to use APA or